The ashes of Earth. The Earth was gone. Captain Darius Cole stood on the bridge of the Valkyrie, staring at the swirling remains of his homeworld. The Zalari Dominion hadn't just conquered Earth, they had erased it. The once blue planet was now a smoldering husk, its cities reduced to ash, its oceans boiled away by orbital bombardment. Humanity was supposed to be extinct, but they had underestimated the resilience of the species they sought to annihilate. "Captain," came a voice from the hollow console. It was Lieutenant Mara Vasquez, his second-in-command, her cybernetic eye glowing faintly in the dim red emergency lights. "Scouts report movement near the asteroid belt. Zalari patrols. If they spot us." "They won't," Darius interrupted, his voice cold, calculated. "We've survived this long. We won't stop now." Survive. That's all they have been doing for the past 2 years. When the Zalari fleet descended upon Earth and its colonies, humanity fought back, hard. But against the sheer technological superiority of the alien empire, resistance crumbled. Billions perished. The lucky ones died in the first wave. The survivors were hunted, enslaved, or scattered among the stars. Now, the last remnants of the Terran resistance hid in Outpost Perseverance, a secret base carved into a drifting ice moon in the Kuiper Belt. It wasn't much, just a handful of warships, a few hundred desperate souls, but it was enough to keep the fight alive. Darius turned away from the viewport, his jaw tight. "Vasquez, give me a secure line to Varric." A moment later, the hollow screen flickered, revealing the scarred face of Varric, their Zalari defector. His yellow eyes glowed with an eerie light, his reptilian features unreadable. Once a commander in the Dominion, he had turned against his own kind after witnessing the brutal extermination of Earth. "You have something for me?" Darius asked. Varric nodded. "I intercepted a transmission. The Dominion believes humanity is broken. They are moving their forces elsewhere. But there's more." He leaned in, voice dropping to a whisper. "They're constructing a new war fleet at Shipyard Prime. Thousands of vessels. If they complete it, your people will never rise again." Silence filled the bridge. Darius felt the weight of his crew's stares. He could see the question in their eyes. What do we do now? For 2 years, they had fought as ghosts, striking and vanishing before the Dominion could retaliate. But this was different. This was an opportunity. "We strike first," Darius said. Mara's eyes widened. "Captain, that's a death sentence." "Maybe," Darius admitted, his voice steady. "But if we let them finish that fleet, there won't be anyone left to fight back." The bridge fell silent. Then one by one his officers nodded. The last survivors of humanity had spent 2 years running. Now, it was time to make the galaxy remember their name. Galactic reckoning had begun. The spark of vengeance. The Valkyrie drifted through the wreckage of an old Zalari outpost, its hull masked by scavenged debris. Around it, a dozen other human warships lay in wait, scarred survivors of a war they refused to lose. Captain Darius Cole stood at the bridge, arms crossed, studying the holomap of Shipyard Prime. It was a fortress, a massive orbital dockyard where the Zalari were constructing their new war fleet. If they completed it, humanity's last hope would be snuffed out forever. "We go in quiet," Darius said. "Hit them from the inside. If we can destroy their fusion cores, the entire shipyard goes up." Lieutenant Mara Vasquez frowned. "That's a big if, Captain. We don't exactly have an invitation." Varric, their Zalari defector, stepped forward, his reptilian eyes glowing in the dim light. "We do now," he said, holding up a data chip. "This contains the clearance codes to a Zalari dreadnought currently docked at the shipyard. If we can board it, we can use it to get past security." Darius glanced at the holomap again. It was a long shot, but long shots were all humanity had left. "All right," he said. "We steal a ship, and then we burn their entire fleet to the ground." The assault team moved like shadows through the darkness of space, their boarding craft drifting toward the XSS Zonthor, a Zalari dreadnought docked at Shipyard Prime. The Zalari believed themselves untouchable, their security lax, just as Varric had predicted. The docking clamps locked onto the dreadnought's hull, and the team breached the airlock with practiced precision. The moment the door slid open, Vasquez was the first inside, her pulse rifle spitting blue plasma. Zalari guards barely had time to react before they collapsed, their scaled bodies riddled with holes. "Clear," she whispered. Darius led the team deeper into the ship. Their objective, the command deck. If they could take control of the dreadnought, they could slip past security and infiltrate the shipyard itself. The corridors were eerily silent. The Zalari, overconfident in their dominion over the stars, had grown complacent. They weren't prepared for a human strike team. Reaching the bridge, Darius raised his weapon and fired. The Zalari officers inside never had a chance. Within moments, the team secured the controls. Varric moved to the terminal, his claws clicking over the interface. Disabling security scans now. "We are in." The shipyard loomed ahead, an industrial monstrosity surrounded by half-built warships and towering scaffolds. This was the beating heart of the Zalari war machine. Darius exhaled. This was their moment. He turned to his crew. "Plant the charges. Set them for remote detonation. We're going to show the Zalari what humanity does best, fight back." As the stolen dreadnought drifted into the heart of the shipyard, humanity's vengeance was about to ignite. Galactic reckoning had begun. The rising storm. The first explosions rocked Shipyard Prime like distant thunder. Fire bloomed along its skeletal structures as human-placed charges ignited fuel lines, sending shockwaves through the Zalari fleet. Darius Cole stood on the dreadnought's bridge, watching as the enemy's industrial stronghold turned into an inferno. Direct hits across all primary docks. Vasquez reported, her cybernetic eye flickering as data scrolled across her interface. "Shipyard integrity is collapsing." Darius allowed himself a grim smile. "Then let's get out of here before we go down with it." But before he could give the order, alarms flared. "Enemy ships inbound." Varric growled. His reptilian fingers flew across the dreadnought's console, pulling up tactical displays. "Zalari fleet is mobilizing fast." On the holoscreen, dozens of warships converged, cutting off their escape route. The Dominion had responded quicker than expected. "We got incoming fighters," Vasquez shouted. "We're sitting ducks in this thing." Darius' mind raced. The stolen dreadnought was powerful, but it wasn't built for speed. They needed an out now. Then Varric stiffened. "Captain, we have a problem. The Dominion just sent a distress signal. Reinforcements will be here within the hour." Darius clenched his fists. The battle wasn't over yet. "Get us to Outpost Perseverance," he ordered. "Now." The Valkyrie and the remaining human fleet regrouped at Outpost Perseverance, a hidden base carved into a drifting ice moon in the Kuiper Belt. It was the last refuge of humanity, a cold and desolate fortress. And soon, it would be the battlefield where they made their final stand. Inside the command center, Darius and his officers pored over tactical maps. The Zalari knew their location now. There would be no escape this time. "They'll come with everything they have," Vasquez said, her voice tight. "We barely made it out of Shipyard Prime. How the hell are we supposed to hold this place?" "We don't," Darius said. "We win." Varric cleared his throat. "There may be a way." The room fell silent. "I have studied ancient records," he continued. "Long ago, before the Dominion, a race known as the Precursors built weapons beyond anything in the galaxy. One of them, a planet cracker cannon, was rumored to be buried beneath this moon." Darius stared at him. "A superweapon?" Varric nodded. "If we can reactivate it, we may have chance." Vasquez exhaled. "And what if it doesn't work?" "Then we die fighting," Darius said simply. The decision was made. As the Zalari fleet closed in, the humans raced against time, drilling deep beneath the frozen surface of the moon. If the precursor cannon still functioned, it could change everything. And if it didn't, humanity's final stand would be written in blood. The storm was coming, and Earth's last survivors would be ready. The reckoning. The Zalari fleet arrived like an oncoming storm. Darius Cole stood on the bridge of the Valkyrie, watching hundreds of enemy warships break through the ice moon's orbit. Cruisers, dreadnoughts, and planetary siege ships loomed in the darkness, their weapons glowing with the eerie blue light of charged plasma. "Zalari fleet on final approach," Vasquez reported, her voice steady despite the overwhelming odds. "They're not holding back. They think this is the end of us," Darius muttered. He turned to Varric. "Tell me the cannon is ready." Deep beneath the frozen crust of Outpost Perseverance, engineers worked frantically to activate the precursor superweapon, a massive energy cannon buried for millennia. But it wasn't ready yet. "Power core at 60%, Varric reported. "We need more time." Darius nodded. Time was something they didn't have. The Zalari ships opened fire. Beams of plasma and kinetic rail slugs streaked through the void, slamming into Perseverance's defensive stations. Explosions lit up the blackness. The human fleet, outnumbered 10-1, launched counterattacks, maneuvering between asteroids and debris to buy every second they could. The Valkyrie weaved through enemy fire, its cannons spitting white-hot fury. Destroyers fell. Fighters exploded in brief flashes of fire. But for every Zalari ship they destroyed, 3 more took its place. Inside the command center, red warning lights flashed. "Shields at 20%. Vasquez shouted. "We can't hold much longer." Darius clenched his fists. "We don't need to. Just hold the line." Then a cold, mechanical voice echoed through the speakers. "Precursor weapon at full charge." Silence fell over the bridge. Darius exhaled. Fire. From beneath the moon's frozen surface, the ancient cannon roared to life. A blinding sphere of energy erupted from the ice, lancing toward the heart of the Zalari fleet. The flagship, a monstrous dreadnought at the center of the formation, took the full brunt of the blast. Its shields flared, then shattered. For a brief moment, the entire Zalari fleet seemed to freeze. Then the flagship exploded. A chain reaction followed. Shockwaves tore through nearby vessels, ripping them apart like paper. Zalari warships careened into each other in a desperate bid to escape the destruction. The once invincible fleet was breaking. "They're retreating," Vasquez gasped, disbelief in her voice. "We're actually winning." Darius watched as the surviving Zalari ships turned tail, vanishing into the abyss. Humanity had been on the brink of extinction. But now, they had the means to fight back. He activated the fleet-wide comms. "This is Captain Darius Cole to all surviving forces." He paused, his voice filled with cold resolve. "Earth may be gone, but humanity isn't. We've sent a message to the galaxy today. We are still here. And we are coming for you." The war wasn't over. It had just begun. Galactic reckoning had begun.